I'm in Manchester and I've come to the Emmeline Pankhurst statue, and there are some women here with suffragette flags, but there are an awful lot of people here who are colonising the space, and there are even some charming people wearing special balaclava masks because that's always a sign of good intent. So check this out. Can you see them all in black? Like they're, I don't know what. Hi! Excuse me. Can you see there's am I allowed in? Thank you. How are you? Are you alright? So you can see there are men dressed in black surrounding the statue. What is your objection to women standing near at the statue? I don't think anyone minds there being anybody here as long as they're not hateful to people. It would be nice if you could spend more time that climate change. And that says radical trans liberation now. What liberation is it that you're seeking? Access to healthcare.
Yeah, access to proper services.
Do you not have access to the NHS?
Well, do some reading. This is a disingenuous attempt to engage this year.
Well, you're saying you want radical trans liberation.
Yeah.
I'm saying, what is it that you want liberation from? And you said you want health services.
Yeah, from people like you. Stop excluding them from spaces that they deserve to have access to.
So what space do you want access to?
Healthcare.
So what healthcare do you want that you don't have now? The only thing at the moment that's restricted in the UK is that it's very difficult for people to access phalloplasty. That's the only trans healthcare that's hard to access.
No, the issue is people waiting for years, and I would say this, I'm not a trans person, but I see my friends waiting years and years and years to access any healthcare, and that's not even, that's the CBT, and then they're waiting 6 years, 7 years. I have friends who never see a specialist about it. Now, if that friend is in a difficult place, what are they supposed, if they're not accessing healthcare, what are they meant to do in that time? I'm concerned about my friends' mental health, and then not only that, they go out and about and have people say things to them that are hateful and derogatory, and all they want to do is work, have friends, socialise, do all the things that I get to do. That's what I'm mad about, that on their behalf, anybody who thinks that they should have those rights to healthcare is, I don't understand why people want to block that. And that seems to be, a lot of people in our society seem to think that even just getting to speak to a specialist is something they should have a right to. I don't know a single person who's managed to get any form of surgery in 5 years, 10 years. That's not, I think it seems to me that a lot of people who are anti-trans think that people just get surgery at the click of a finger, and that doesn't happen. I've got friends who wait years and years and years, and if people don't care about that, I can't understand. That's a human rights issue. I'll leave it there.
I think everybody should have the right to healthcare. I agree with you, because I think it is a real shame that waiting lists are really long. They love things for people with cancer at the moment. I mean, COVID has made everything so much worse, which is already bad as it is. But I do think that it is really important that people have access to healthcare. About
think there are people who relish in being considered anti-trans, and I do not understand that. Why do people want to get in the way of people just existing and being part of our society? That is.
Obviously, lots of different people here. We're only split into two different groups. There's only one group here that are trying to exclude another from access to things. The people here in support of trans people are not trying to exclude other people.
But the people here that are in support of trans people, they're excluding women from the statue of Emmeline Pankhurst.
The thing is, if it was just a standard day, right?
Yeah.
And women wanted to come here and celebrate the legacy of women being able to vote, that's one thing. It's another thing to, I mean, let's just say that we knew that Rosie Parker was organising to come here. I've seen what she says on, I've seen her speak, I've watched interviews of her, I've seen her say incredibly derogatory, harmful, painful things. Now, as a friend to trans, as my close friends who are trans people, if I hear that somebody who speaks hatred towards them is organising a statue in my city, where I'm from, that concerns me.
I totally support that.
And that's why we're here. But the thing is,
The difference is, I think what I would support is a counter-protest that didn't prevent people from actually also enjoying freedom of speech. I think we should both have freedom of speech. And what's happening is that, like, this tactic is deliberately to exclude us from the meeting place that was arranged, which is to disrupt our meeting. And I know that's the point of your protest, but to me, it's unfair if you were to try and stop us speaking. In the same way it would be unfair if I was to try and disrupt your protest and stop. Like, I'm happy to engage you, but I'm happy to engage you on your issues. You haven't asked me about mine, I've asked you about
A lot of
yours.
people here haven't been like you.
They haven't?
Yeah, I've had guys coming up in our faces with phones talking about how
I've
how
got
he doesn't.
one.
Yeah, I know. In his day saying how he doesn't want women to be allowed to chop their tits off when they're kids. Like how that is not the same as coming to a space and speaking to people that believe in something. That's coming in hate speech. That is hate speech.
I think it's really difficult to have a nuanced conversation in this environment. It is really difficult. Personally, I think the entire construction of the trans child is problematic. I think that these are decisions that should be made when you've got some maturity and where your sexual function is guaranteed. I'm really concerned that what we're doing is disrupting natural development of some children by labelling them in this way, which lifts them out of the safeguarding framework.
How many trans children have you spoken to directly?
Quite a few.
Because everything that I hear from people that have gone through that, they have agency. They know. Like
I
we
know
don't
so
just trust
many
things.
children that have identified as trans and then have decided later that it was just a phase. And not all, but a significant number of children will do this because they're very vulnerable to social contagion. And you see it happen in the classroom. I'm a mum, I don't know if you've got children. You've got children. So what's happening in secondary school is you're getting a few children identifying as trans, and then all of a sudden you get a cluster of 10 adolescent girls. And it's the same way in my day. It used to be eating disorders or cutting, or it was like this particular thing that adolescent girls are very, very vulnerable to social contagion. Something to do with their development. It happens in every generation.
I think they're
And
pretty
it's
big
happening
leaps. Should we
now.
just be linking those things up?
I would say, as someone who's had experience of eating disorder,
Yeah.
an eating disorder is, by its very nature, something that is harming your body. It's something that, and it's very complex. It's not as straightforward as just eating or not making yourself sick. But ultimately, in and of itself, it's harmful to the young person or anybody, and we wouldn't want a person to suffer from an eating disorder. Now, as my brother just said, I don't think that. I think to try. I'm not doubting that children and teenagers are in. You're going through a stage of identity, and you're
forming your identity.
Well, I don't think anybody here that I know is trying to advocate for trans children having any kind of surgery at that age. In fact, it's not something that happens. And I mean, the only thing that, and again, I don't know any trans children who actually have access to this, but the only thing that children and people who've been trans children have asked for is that they can delay puberty, so they've got the time. And I appreciate that is medical thing. I know young people who can come for different reasons.
The thing is, right, puberty is a developmental process. Like, the way you think at the beginning of puberty isn't the same as the way you think at the end of puberty. And that's a normal, natural process that we've all got to do to develop adult cognition. And the concern is that we don't have enough research on the effect of puberty blockers for, like, the permanent impact on the adult cognition. What we do know is that they permanently disrupt sexual function. Because, of course, at the start of puberty, it's not even a feature in your life. And you can't even conceive of what it's going to mean to you as an adult to have that function. So it's a real problem that we don't know what that impact is going to be. It's possible because we know that putting children on puberty blockers sets them up for cross-sex hormones when they hit the age barrier. We know that since we started putting kids on puberty blockers, 95% of them progress with cross-sex hormones, which has completely changed the profile of children that present as trans. Most of them used to discuss and end up as gay and lesbian adults. Now, 95% of them will continue into that trans identity as adults. But they don't have the ability to orgasm. They don't have the ability to have pleasure with their partners. It's not like people of our generation who decide to transition that already have that ability. It's lost. And later, if they change their mind later, or even if they just decide, do you know what, I should pause these hormones so that my puberty can catch up, it doesn't happen because it's a window, and if you pass that window, you can't do it later.
It makes sense though then in that case, because what I would say is that of trans children that I've known, or people who've got, just past the adolescence period, they weren't given the option to speak with professionals about their gender, and where does that leave children if they don't have access? We know the waiting list for the very few, and I'm not saying that those gender clinics are the right way to. Maybe we should have a different system for people accessing healthcare other than gender identity clinics. But as it stands, there's a small number of gender identity clinics, and there's huge waiting lists for them. I'm concerned that children. You can have those concerns about children's development, and I think we're all. I don't think trans people are not invested in the development of children. I think we all want what's best for children. The worry is if children don't have access to speak about these things, if there's an openness and lack of stigma to talk about how they feel, where their identity, how they can express their identity in whatever way that is, and in many cases that's not a physical thing. They just want to be able to dress a certain way, be referred to in a certain way, and I don't understand why the problem is that by talking about the issues you're describing, I think that I'm not saying you can't have these conversations about that. Isn't that there's a disregard for what a lot of trans children actually want, which is to be socially recognised the way that they want. And if they change their minds, I mean, again, it's a small percentage of people who do go on to change their minds on that. It's a very large amount who socially transition as a child, and then as they get older, stay, see as the gender they identify as, or the same, if not the same identity, then they still feel trans, exactly. And I think why the problem is that when people, and this is against what I've seen from people like Rosie Parker and similar, I've never seen them talk in a respectful way to trans people, and I've never really
say, because I agree that what is going on with Hiya, how are you?
I'm good. How are you filming?
Yeah, I'm filming. It's all right. What's going on with children in terms of access to child and adolescent mental health service is atrocious. It is probably worse than what we were saying about the gender clinics. The waiting lists are falling, and there are not enough therapists in general. The difference is that when a child is expressing distress around thoughts of gender, like your conception is to label them as a trans child, whereas my conception,
they can label themselves as a whole boy. It's not
whereas
someone
my
else coming
conception is that I would say that is a child that's in distress that needs to speak to a therapist and work through all those feelings without any label on it.
No one's coming in and saying that's a trans child because they're feeling distressed. It's giving them the space and the opportunity to work through that themselves, but with support. I think that taps into something that seems to get like misconstrued a lot about it is into looking at gender side.
Professional, but my concern is, like, I've never stopped my kids wearing anything. Like, they're free to use clothes, from wearing the shop, men's section, women's section, girls' section, boys' section. There's no problem. Same with all of their friends. There are no parents that I know of that are still, like, insisting their children to do strict gender roles. Continue to talk here. Just move because it looks to me like there's a little petal starting. I'm right here if you want to continue to talk.
I've got chronic health issues, so I'm not keen to get.
Okay. Do you need anything? Can I give you anything?
I'm fine.
I've got a banana or water.
I'm okay.
Listen, I'll leave it because it's quite stressful to have a conversation in this environment. I really appreciate you spending time talking with me.
Yeah.
My name's Claire. I'm not a monster. I just think differently on this issue.
I would just hope that, what I would hope is that anyone who is expressing concerns doesn't gravitate towards hateful rhetoric towards people. If we're all collectively invested in the welfare of all young people and all of our and all women and feminine people who experience, as you said, misogyny from men, then we would be in a stronger and better place. And at the moment it feels that is not where we're at. And it saddens me that people would hear someone say something hateful.
Honestly, it's so rude.
It just saddens me that people would gravitate towards hateful rhetoric.
I can understand that.
And not to mention, if you consider, as a final point, I would just say that friends from other parts of the world where historically gender expression has been much freer, a lot of it around. I feel like there's people who across the globe, we're talking it from the lens of our society and our experience.
But was filming.
There are gender expression is incredibly varied globally, has been for centuries, and I think it's really good to widen the lens around what that could look like and how we've kind of
Gender is a very specific thing.
Yeah. Well, there are people in this country, there are people in this country from different cultures, and also we learn from other cultures, and we can improve things based on how things are done in different countries around the world. So it would be
You know, the fact that human is incredibly complex, society is great, and it's part of what makes us human, isn't it? But for me, one of the differences is that I still recognise biological sex as from context. So from context, I agree that space should be gendered according to
I don't doubt those people exist. What really bothers me is that people then hold that up as being that is how trans people are to people, because there's abuse, as we know, there's abuse of people of all genders, then more so than others. But the largest number of people who do that are not. It's not like there's a disproportionate amount of abuse of people in amongst trans people. Is what I'm saying.
Well, if you look at prison populations, for instance, like most women that are in prison because of frankly quite ridiculous reasons, to do with not paying fines and stuff like that. There's a very, very small proportion of women that are in prison for sexual or violent offences. It's something like 4%. It's a really low percentage. With men, they are much more violent as a group, and their prison population. Also, they don't get sent to prison for as much as fines and stuff like that. It tends to be more violent things. So their proportion of like violent and sexual offenders is more like 20%. But when you look at the people who identify as trans that are in prison, over 50% are convicted of sexual offence as their index offence. So what is going on? That's the case. How can you explain that except that there are either more sex offenders in the trans population, which I don't believe, or there are sex offenders abusing gender self-identification in order to get access to a potential victim.
My concern would be on a systemic level. The reason that people abuse people, and particularly cisgender men abusing women, comes from a societal.
What this dickhead is doing is really pissing me off.
The way that we societally condition boys to be able to normalise abusive culture towards women, we raise boys, unfortunately, on a big scale that it's okay to be harmful towards women, right? So anybody who's raised as a boy, whether or not they are trans or not, as they get older, there's more likelihood that they will get exposed to this culture of it's okay to harm women, it's okay to harm other people. Like, I genuinely don't believe that it's like a biological drive in people assigned male at birth.
I hope not, or else
No,
feminism
I think it's completely societal. So my feeling would be, isn't it better to target at the root why we are raising boys like that? Which again is what feminism's been trying to do for years.
Yeah.
But that doesn't go, to me that shouldn't be in competition with the battle for.
They're asking us to move over now because she's over there.
Listen,
Right, okay.
take care. What was your name?
Hannah.
Hannah, it's been lovely to speak to you.
I'm just concerned about my friends' well-being and the well-being of people who are marginalised. And that goes for all groups. So.
Thanks, Hannah. So that's Hannah, who has had a lovely conversation with me.
Are you with a